Mead, despite having a long history, is less popular than related fermented beverages like wine and beer. This is largely because in the 17th and 18th centuries, honey was incredibly expensive to attain, so it fell out of favor. However, in recent years, because of pop culture media like TV series such as Game of Thrones and Vikings, as well as video games like Skyrim, these have begun to revive the relevance of this drink. However, this drink and many others like it would not be possible without one microbial organism, Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Throughout human history, food and beverages made with microbes have been a key aspect in diets of groups of people across the globe. One such microbe is Saccharomyces cerevisiae, also known as baker's yeast. Variety in these comes from different ingredients that are added during production, giving them all their own distinct tastes. Some of these include bread, which is a grain-based food, wine with grapes, beer with grain and hops, sake with rice, cider with apples. But what about mead? Mead is made with honey. Mead is considered one of, if not, the oldest alcohol made by humans, with residual evidence being found in ancient Chinese pottery dating back to 7000 BC. Aside from China, mead has been recorded to have been made in many different regions across the world, notably Scandinavia with the Norsemen and the Vikings, in Gaul, which is presently known as France, Teutonic Europe, which is the Baltics, and it has been recorded in Greece and Ireland. There is also some evidence to suggest that mead could have been made as far back as 20,000 years ago in tribes such as the Bushmen in southern Africa. So why cerevisiae in the production of alcohol? First is the two products made during fermentation. One is carbon dioxide and the other is ethanol, which is what makes it alcoholic. The second important factor is the way that they reproduce. They perform budding, a type of asexual reproduction, which allows them to quickly proliferate and produce more of themselves to then also produce more of those fermentation products. Alcoholic fermentation begins with glucose provided by the sugars found in honey. Glucose is catalyzed into pyruvate by the addition of ADP and inorganic phosphate, which becomes ATP, as well as the addition of NAD+, which becomes NADH, and protons. Pyruvate is transformed into acetaldehyde by use of the enzyme pyruvate decarboxylase. This is the step that also produces carbon dioxide. For acetaldehyde to become ethanol, the enzyme alcohol dehydrogenase is used in conjunction with the NADH and protons produced from the initial step, which is oxidized back to NAD+. And by the end of this, ethanol is produced. The key main ingredient that is universal to all meads is the use of honey, but other items like fruits, such as red currants, blackberries, or strawberries are added to add a fruity aroma, but spices are also sometimes added, like cinnamon. Key pieces of hardware for mead production are glass carboys, which are the containers seen here, stoppers with a hole, as well as an airlock. The first step in the production of mead is sanitizing all the hardware that is going to be used to limit the interaction between other microbes and the beverage being made. Next is bringing the water needed to a boil and mixing in the honey until these two have dissolved together. Then it can be brought back up to a boil again and all the added ingredients like fruits or spices can be added. And then once all of this has cooled, it can be transferred back into the carboy. Once all of this has been cooled within the carboy, yeast can be added as well as more filtered water, which is then all mixed together. The airlock can then be added, and this is very important because the airlock allows carbon dioxide produced by the yeast to escape so that the container does not explode. The carboy should be placed in a cool, dark area to allow fermentation to continue for at least 4 weeks, though it is suggested that this process be allowed to sit for several months. After that time period, the mead is ready to be bottled and consumed. So, Saccharomyces cerevisiae is key in the production of mead. Without it, the making of such a beverage with a unique aroma and long shelf life would just not be possible.